Now we're going to use Adobe Illustrator to flip horizontal and a bit more. Flip horizontal is usually pretty straightforward in any application. You click on an object, you go to some menu, you say flip horizontal, it flips horizontal. But Illustrator doesn't work like that. It's weird, and they have other tools that work in a similar fashion to the flip horizontal tool, which is not even called the flip horizontal tool. So let's go in here and go into Illustrator and make this work. I select the object. Okay, so I have this penny here. The first thing I'm going to do is select the penny. Then in the toolbar, it may be hidden under the rotation tool. I go down to the reflect tool. This is Illustrator's version of flip horizontal, flip vertical. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to deselect by clicking the black arrow tool, click the penny, then I go to the reflect tool, click it gently. I come right to the center of the object, and I'm going to option click or alt click, depending on what version you are on. It says vertical, 90 degrees. I'm going to click OK. There you go. Now, even though the little sign said flip vertical, it actually flipped it, you saw it, horizontal. Okay? Okay, so this tries something else here. Now, here's where you can have some fun with this. I'm going to click the black arrow tool, and I'm going to drag the penny over here. And then I'm going to click the reflect tool, but instead of clicking right in the center of the object, I'm going to go over here to the right and option or alt click. And instead of clicking OK, I'm going to click copy. And there you go. That's kind of cool. So depending, you can click right in the middle and click OK, and that will flip it horizontal. But if you click, and it depends, like if I had clicked over here, alt or option click, and copied it, then it would have showed up over here by the gradient panel. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's keep our little pennies. Maybe we can use them for something in the future, and I'm just going to go Object, Group, and drag these guys up here, and maybe scale them down a tad. Okay, so to do something creative with the situation that we have here in Adobe Illustrator, let me close some of these panels. I'll keep my layer panel open. I'm going to make a vase. Yeah, glass vase. So I'm going to make a new layer and call this vase. Okie dokie. And to do it, I'm going to use the pen tool. I come over here, get the pen tool, and I'm going to assign stroke. I'm going to get rid of the fill, bring stroke to the front. I'm going to give this stroke color a really bright color so that you can see it and I can see it. And here we go. I take the pen tool, and all I'm going to do is click, 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 and that's all that I want. Then I'm going to get my anchor conversion tool and just make some bevels. There you go, just like that. Okay, so there's half of my vase. Now I'm going to do the other half, and I'm going to do it the same way that I made the pennies. So I go to the reflect tool. I'm going to go right about here and option click. Vertical is selected, but the picture says horizontal. This is set to 90 over here, and I'm going to copy. Uh-oh. I think what happened is one of my vectors was selected. One of my anchor points must have been selected. So I'm going to take the black arrow tool. The whole thing is selected now. Go to the Reflect tool, Option or Alt click, copy. There are my two sides of the vase. But I want to join the paths for the bottom and the top. So I get my white arrow tool, make a marqueed selection to select this anchor point and this anchor point, and then I go to Object, Path, Join. That gets that done. Come up here to the top. I'm going to click away to deselect. That doesn't seem like it's working. Here we go. So my top two anchor points are selected, and I'm going to go Object, Path, Join. Okay, I'm good to go. I guess if you wanted to decorate this a bit more, if I got my pen tool and go to the middle of this thing, add an anchor point, maybe drag this down just a little bit, get my anchor conversion tool just to add a little bit of a curve. Okie dokie. So I just made that stroke color big and thick like that so you could see it very well. But now I think I'm going to kill the stroke, bring my fill to the front, and use this fading sky default gradient. And if I get my gradient tool, oh well, let's see if I can make a better gradient there. Something like that. That'll work for me. There we go. And I still don't like the way that's looking, so just for the heck of it, I'm going to copy that. This copy the vase. I'd like it to be a little darker. So I'm going to copy, edit copy, select coin layer, and call this vase black. And I'm going to lock the other layers, and then in the vase black layer, I'm going to go edit, paste in place. So now I have another vase, and here I'm just going to take the fill color to black, and in the transparency panel, I'm going to reduce the opacity a bit. And if I show the vase layer, that just adds a little something to the vase, okay? And I'm going to make the vase skinnier. Oops, undo. Stuff was locked. Let's unlock the vase layer, and let's just group those. Maybe not. We'll leave them alone, but we will make them both skinnier in unison. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to make a shadow. This, you've got this vase here. You can see through it to the beach. And I'm going to lock these layers. Notice I'm selecting the coin tool. If the coin layer, if I select that layer and make a new layer, they always pop up right above the selected layer. So I'm going to call this layer shadow. And I'm going to go, oh, better yet, let me unlock that shadow that we made, select it, and go edit copy. Lock that layer, go to the shadow layer, and I'm going to go edit paste in place. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So here we go. Now I'm going to hide To hide everything but the layer that I just created, if I hover over the eyeball, hold the Alt key down on the PC, Option key on the Mac, it hides every layer except for that layer. So I can click this thing. Opacity is at 72%. I'm going to take it up to 100%. And then I'm going to Alt, Option, click. Again, it brings it back. Okie dokie, here we go. Now I want to make a shadow. So I'm going to go to the Effects, Distort and Transform, Free Distort. And this weird little thing right here shows up. Well, it's a shadow, so I can take these little points here, and you can only drag them so far, which is kind of a drag. Ha, get it? Get it? A drag. Ha ha. Okay, so that's about the best. I wish they would make this window just a little bigger. Okay, so I click OK, and there is the shadow. But it's kind of funky. It's not. It's like if you click it, this thing still stays selected, but it's like the vase is over here, the shadow's over here, and you can't select it. So I'm going to go Object, Expand Appearance. Expand Appearance should unlock all the vectors. So let's give it a shot. There you go. There we go. Here we are down here. That's what I wanted to get to. Now I think, let's see if we can expand again. No, that's it. It's not grouped. Okay, so now I'm going to get the white arrow tool and just come down here. I've selected the top anchor points, and I just want to bring this down a little bit. I might have to, yeah, there you go. You might have to move individual anchor points to make this work. Make sure that everybody's in the water at least. Okay, there we go. Move this down a little bit. Go back to the black arrow tool, back to the transparency settings, and just kind of fizzle that out. So it kind of looks like a shadow. I could do some work on it, yeah. But anyway, that was fun. Anyway, that is Flip Horizontal. Also, we flipped an individual object, but in flipping it horizontal, we also duplicated the pennies, which is kind of cool. I like the pennies up there. But then we drew a path, flipped that horizontal, joined some paths, created a vase, and then added a drop shadow. And I kind of like it. So anyway, there's Flip Horizontal in Adobe Illustrator.